My wife 35 female cheated on me 34 male and then cried while deleting her AP contact information. I have never felt more broken or pathetic in my life. Basically, what the title implies. My 4-year-old wife joined a gym early this year in order to lose the excess pounds. She noted after a few days that she had developed a friend with a trainer 56M there, and he inspires her to work harder. Given the dude's age, I assumed he was taking a mentor-like interest in my wife. They eventually began communicating over Instagram and WhatsApp. She began spending more time on her phone and became more secretive about it, but I chalked it up to increasing stress since she works as a trader at a financial institution, which is a tough profession. I received a message on Facebook around 2 weeks ago from someone claiming to have evidence that my wife is cheating on me. So I added that individual who turned out to be her wife's friend. She informed me she had received texts on her husband's phone, indicating that he and my wife were having a full-fledged emotional affair and were making preparations to reserve a hotel room, and he was discussing things he wanted to do to my wife. To say I was taken aback would be an understatement. I went home and asked her if she was having an EA with the guy from the gym. I inquired whether she was sure he was only a friend, and she answered yes. She replied okay, so I got back in my vehicle and drove away, booking a hotel room for the night. Then I switched off my phone and went to bed. When I turned on my phone the next morning, there were 80 missed calls and hundreds of texts. So I phoned her again and asked if she was ready to come clean. She agreed. So I returned home and she admitted to having an emotional affair with the guy, but claimed that she would never have intercourse with him, which is why she kept putting off his offer of a hotel stay. She pleaded for another opportunity, pledged never to make such a decision again, and handed over her phone and social media passwords. I reviewed her texts, and it was evident from the chats that they had yet to have any physical interaction, and he was pushing it while my wife was muted in her reaction, but she wasn't shutting it off. There were also a few movies and images, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to attempt marital counseling before blowing up the marriage. Anyway, we had our first marital counseling appointment yesterday, and our counselor was asking some basic things, such as if she had given me full access to her phones and social media, whether she had removed the AP contact information, whether she had blocked him. She said that she had done neither, and I gazed at her in awe. When I urged her to block him, she obliged while crying. At this point, I was absolutely open-mouthed, wondering if she was really sobbing while blocking the person she was cheating on me with as I sat there. It felt as if I had an out-of-body experience and was seeing myself sobbing while blocking my wife's AP. I'd never seen such a pitiful sight before. I had lost faith in myself. The MC revealed to me that it was an affair fog, and that even though it was an illicit relationship, the sensations were extremely genuine. But I didn't only lose respect for my wife at that point, I also lost respect for my pitiful self. It was heartbreaking to see her sobbing over him. So I requested her to end the session and informed my wife that I was going to find a hotel room and think about our future. Then I almost sprinted out of there. So my query to Reddit is, can my marriage be saved? Should I cut my losses and flee? Story 2. All cheaters do the same things. Most common signs of a cheating spouse. As a private investigator, I've worked on hundreds of instances of infidelity cheating spouse throughout the years. I can tell that in each of the situations I've looked into, I've observed similar tendencies among people who were cheating. I produced a list of 14 of these characteristics or indicators below. Communication secrets. This would involve things like promptly deleting text messages or removing call records. This includes keeping one's mobile phone on one's person at all times to prevent the spouse from accessing the gadget. Creating more email accounts. These accounts are usually used to communicate with a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Getting rid of internet browser history. This is usually done to keep the spouse from discovering the websites that the cheating spouse has visited. Obtaining a backup mobile phone. It is not unusual for a cheating spouse to have a second cell phone. This is done to keep the spouse from discovering any text messages, emails, or phone conversations from the person with whom they are cheating. All communications with the individual with whom they are cheating must take place on the secondary mobile phone, spending more time away from home or away from the spouse. causes conflicts and utilizes this as an excuse to spend time away from the spouse or to refrain from being intimate with the spouse. They often lie about where they have gone or with whom they have been. Changing outward appearance. This might involve a newfound interest in working out or improving their physical condition. This might entail altering your hairdo or apparel. Changing interest in intimate relationships with spouse. This is usually characterized by a lack of desire in intimacy with the partner. We do witness an increase in closeness with spouse on rare occasions. When this happens, it is usually as a consequence of guilt or, in some situations, as a result of attempting to assuage a spouse's fears. Detachment from one's emotions. Frequently hurled slurs at cheating spouse will often make disparaging remarks about their partner's looks, weight, or other physical characteristics. Defensive actions. Typically, the cheating spouse may overreact to sample queries from your spouse. Questions such, "How was your day?" or, more specifically, "What did you do today?" can elicit an overreaction from a cheating spouse. The cheating spouse will sometimes accuse the innocent spouse of being overly nosy or asking too many questions. Defense is being planned with the help of relatives and friends. This is a rather frequent one. We often see a cheating spouse trying to prepare their family and friends in case they are found cheating. Typically, they will inform relatives and friends that their spouse is insane, suspicious, and making outlandish charges. The cheating spouse may sometimes accuse the innocent spouse of infidelity. Close friends and family's conduct is changing. This is common when one spouse is cheating and may be employing a friend or family member to help them conceal their secret. Cheaters often solicit the assistance of a close friend or family member. This is often used to describe time spent away from home. And reason to be away from the spouse might be provided by a close friend or family member. Even if a close friend or family member expresses a want to assist, they often behave differently in the presence of the innocent spouse. They usually avoid making touch with the innocent spouse. When contact is unavoidable, the conduct of the family member or friend changes dramatically from what it has been in the past. Surveillance countermeasures. This happens in more than 90% of the instances I deal with. The cheating spouse is always on the lookout for any indication that their spouse has gotten suspicious. A cheating spouse will go through the innocent spouse's emails, text messages, and phone conversations to discover who they have been chatting with and whether there has been any hint of suspicion. Cheating spouses have been known to put recording devices about the house to listen for any mention of anything that might lead to the cheater's discovery. One of two things will happen if an affair is allowed to continue. 1. The cheater is unconcerned about being detected and may have even made preparations to leave the house permanently. 2. The cheater is afraid of being caught and will grow progressively paranoid. Intensified paranoia will inevitably result in increased counter-surveillance,